welcome to Lead Story. My name is Giovanni and this is your special Tracking Melissa the Aftermath edition. This time we're coming to you from Cambridge Primary School in Cambridge, St. James. Of course, St. James is one of the parishes significantly shattered by Category 5 Hurricane Melissa that swept through Jamaica on the 28th of October. Now, we have been driving through several parishes. We've been looking at the devastation all day today. And I just want to start this program in an unusual way. I want to bring on set two of our reporters from the newsroom, Amoy Harriet, who has been with us in St. Elizabeth and also Westmoreland. And today, for the first time during our Tracking Melissa coverage with Lead Story, Akeem Orret. Both of them have been working on stories throughout the day, looking at the devastation. I want to start firstly with Akeem. Akeem, it was garbage galore. Tell me what you experienced working on this story. First, how did the garbage affect you?
Gio, let me tell you, garbage is the first I'm smelling that stench of garbage. So I can imagine what it is like for residents living in those areas. Now, what it is like for me going through St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, the garbage pile up, as young people would say, it is crazy.
And this is something that we'll be delving a little bit more deeper into at the beginning of CVM's News at 7. So we'll get a little bit more into Akeem's story. We'll also be giving you a preview of that in a little later on in Lead Story. But also Amoy is here. And Amoy, you were working on an exclusive today regarding tourism. What did you find out?
So, Gio, we have been speaking for the last 4 weeks now, because it has been a month since Hurricane Melissa. We've been speaking a lot about the impact that Melissa has had on the tourism sector. But what we've heard about most recently, just as recent as a few days ago, we were speaking about this on CVM's News at Noon, the Bahia Principe Resort, the Bahia Principe Hotel and Resort, the redundancy exercise that has happened at that resort and how it's affecting employees. Now, we actually stopped by the hotel earlier today, and to our surprise, dozens of employees or workers, contract workers to be specific, were outside the hotel, and they were there to sign up for some payment, the last of the payment that they'll ever receive from the hotel. And it was interesting hearing their stories, how the redundancy exercise is affecting them on a personal level, on a professional level, and seeing the extent of how much Melissa is affecting Jamaicans, especially those in Western Jamaica.
Of course, that story is coming for you at 7 o'clock in CVM's News at 7. We'll also be giving you a preview of that story a little bit later on in the program. But as we shift gears a little bit now, I just want to invite the head of police for the St. James Division, Senior Superintendent Aaron Samuels, along with his colleague, DSP Salki, Deputy Superintendent Salki. Firstly, looting major issue. We're coming from Montego Bay, SSP Samuels, and we're speaking to persons in the arcade who were lamenting how significantly they've been impacted by Melissa, but are also further lamenting the looting. What, if anything, is being done about that, or what was that like earlier on in the immediate aftermath following Melissa?
Or in the immediate aftermath of Melissa, we had those instances of looting, but our team quickly went on the scene. But in that issue where we tried to be rescuing persons, we had to make a choice whether to pay attention to looting or to try to rescue. But we were able as best as possible to cauterize it and have persons, trying to salvage as much as they could.
DSP Salki, Community Safety and Security, driving up here in Cambridge, and I should say for our viewers, I've never been this far inland inside St. James, unlike most side of the country. I am from the eastern parts of the country, and I will declare now, I was lost. We almost didn't make it in time actually to be here because of how difficult this area is to traverse. And I can only imagine for you, DSP Salki, the difficulty was to get to some of the areas that were significantly affected. What has it been like for your team covering the entirety of the parish following Melissa?
I'm happy to say that we have reached over 200 communities overall with other stakeholders, attending to the cares and the needs of these persons as much as possible, and we are still making efforts to reach other communities. It has been a tedious one. And with the constraints of moving around freely, that gave us some levels of challenge. However, because of the resilience of the men and women in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, I have seen personnel going 2-3 days continuously without ceasing duty, just to make sure that as much as possible, working with the stakeholders, we get care to these persons. There are some other locations that would have probably taken us half hour to get there, but because we have to use alternate routes, it took us sometimes 1.5, even 2 hours to get there. But because
speaking about getting there,
yes,
we have been speaking to residents, and a lot of them are experiencing significant difficulty. What are the stories you're hearing from the residents when you get to these areas that are much more difficult to get to?
Well, a number of them, because of the loss of jobs and so on, in light of the hurricane and the passing, they're having difficulty getting items to survive and so on. Hence, the assistance that have been coming in are immense. As a matter of fact, the men and women, especially in the Community Safety and Security Department, on a daily basis, we have been going out and taking into consideration the communities that we must reach. We sit down, we organize, say we reach Top Cambridge this time. All right, the fact that we reach Top Cambridge this time, we are going down to Bottom Cambridge another time, we are going to Bickerstead another time, we are going into Duckett another time. So that is how we have been organizing to make sure that as much as possible persons receive some levels of care as we continue to serve these people in the area, especially those areas that were marooned during the passing of Hurricane Melissa.
Very important issue right now, perhaps one of the most important questions I'll ever ask you, SSP Samuels. I heard DSP Salki just now saying how difficult it has been for members of his team going 3 and 4 days non-stop. What's being done to help now with your members going through all of this, they themselves having been affected by this? What are you doing to ensure that they're okay mentally?
All right, so we have engaged the services of our chaplain. In fact, they reached out to us very shortly after this storm, the chaplain's unit and our medical services branch. So we have been offering counseling to those members. We have our welfare unit that we also ensure.
Offering counseling to which members?
So members affected by the storm.
Tell me how many members are in terms of a percentage of the members who have been affected.
So we have 226 members who have been directly affected, either that they lost everything, or they lost a roof, they lost a car, they lost documents, they have damage to their homes, and we have 26 members who have total demolition in terms of they've lost everything. And we are, through our welfare arm, we are trying our best efforts to see how we can rally around these members to get them back on their feet. But I must applaud them, though, even though they are going through their difficulties.
Hold a second, before you even applaud them for their bravery, I'm trying to ensure that they are being taken care of. When they say rally around them to see how best you can, what sort of aid will you be providing for them to kind of literally help them get back on their feet?
So they have been getting care packages. What we are doing now, we are tallying everything to see what kind of tangible in terms of solutions they can get, in terms of whether it is they can get funds to help with repair to housing, etc. Has that structure in place, and the High Command is supporting as well. And we as members are rallying around, ensuring that members, especially in like the Catchinall and West Green areas, we help to clean their houses and help to ensure that they get the necessary supplies to get them in a state of readiness to live back in these houses.
And how you wanted to chime in?
Judge, and also we have been having persons reaching out to us to find out from us how best they can assist us as members, because they are seeing the work and they are willing to. Today we were reached out to and we collected some care packages for some of the members who probably lost mattresses and stove and so on, and a few of those items were picked up and those were welcome, and it is something that we are grateful for.
And our welfare extends not just to the members but their families as well. So we are a tight-knit group, and our welfare team has been active before, during and after the storm.
Well, we want to thank you all so much for the work that you have been doing. and we do want to hear a little bit more from you because we are up on the first break, and I just want to ask you just one question finally each. Where are you now in terms of the recovery to your own normalcy, to your own operations here in St. James, and next steps? So in terms of recovery first, let me start with you, DSP.
All right, so what we are doing, we are working together to make sure as much as possible the facility that we work, the police stations and so on, things are in place. For those who lost roof, and I can mention there's a particular station that we had to move to another location, but we are still sending in the patrol on a round-the-clock basis to make sure that police presence is maintained there. And in terms of the personnel, a lot of personnel have been going back into their personal homes. That is, and because of the support that they have been getting, we still see them coming out. And I can say that in terms of even the transportation of these persons, we have been working together to make sure that as much as possible.
We're just about out of time for this our first segment, but I'm quickly for you in 10 seconds, SSP, next steps.
For next steps, well, we continue to push operationally. We are still doing well. We have 51 murders compared to 100 and I think 15 last year. We are about 58% reduction compared to last year. So we continue to ensure that we create a safe and secure space so that persons can recover, not having to look over their shoulders. So our main job is to continue to ensure that the space is safe and secure.
Congratulations on the reduction in murders and serious crimes, and continue to do your very good job. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Senior Superintendent of Police Aaron Sam was there, the head of police for the St. James, or the head of police for St. James, for the St. James Division, and with him the head of his Community and Security Branch, DSP Salki. I'm just going to invite, before we go to the break, the chairman of CVM TV, Dr. Delroy Howell. Dr. Howell, this is now the third stop for CVM's Rebuilding Jamaica initiative. What has it been like so far today here in Cambridge, St. James?
Well, as you know, Giovanni, at our last meeting in Black River, we said that we would continue to go around the island. And we are so proud that the team came in today. We were in Cambridge Primary and did a fabulous job, continue to try to rebuild the devastation caused by Melissa.
Tell me some of the details in terms of the fabulous job that the team has been doing here today.
Well, we have been handing out care packages. I think we did over 2,000 care packages today, which is quite a bit. I came in, I see...
Hold a second, quite a bit, 2,000 care packages and so much more. I'm getting the break signal from my producer, so we are up on our first break here on Lead Story. Coming to you from Cambridge in St. James, one of the areas significantly affected by Melissa. We take our first break here on Lead Story. We'll be right back with so much more. Stay with us.
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these four boys dream of playing in the ISA schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
For Jamaica. Yeah. Yo, what are you?
Oh man, no, brother, no, man.
You don't see you ever play ref? No, the game,
yeah, but I look a bad game. No, I said, place you come from, brother, I want to live good, man. I want to live good, Bridging. No shake on, I can play a little bad, Bridging.
Really have to shake on?
Yeah, man, and no badness, Bridging, just live good, man.
Come together as one and make the violence done.
Jamaica's unemployment rate has fallen to 3.3%, down from 13.2% in 2016. Our government's continued focus on job creation is delivering real results. We are building Jamaica. The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is...
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these four boys dream of playing in the ISA schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
and it's a shot, and it's a goal. And KC has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
Issa schoolboy football is back. The storm has passed, but the spirit remains. This time it's bigger than football. CVM TV brings you a doubleheader from Waterhouse Mini Stadium. This Friday, November 28, the round of 16 continues with match day 2. In the opening encounter, Woolmer's Boys and Tivoli Gardens face off in a must-win for both teams. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. and Stats and Excelsior clash for a spot at the top of the group in the feature match at 4:15 p.m. Coverage is live and exclusive on CVM TV, CVM Television Jamaica on YouTube, and CVMTV.com. That's the return of the Issa Manning Cup, Friday, November 28. A doubleheader at Waterhouse Mini Stadium. Tivoli Gardens versus Woolmer's Boys at 2 p.m. and Stats versus Excelsior at 4:15 p.m.
Alright guys, can we get the lead story host on set please?
Story, we're coming to you from the Cambridge Primary School here in St. James. Driving through this constituency, driving through this entire area, I'm still seeing significant damage and destruction for Melissa. There are parts of the road broken in two, and it's very difficult just traversing the area. Potholes as well are significantly worsened because of Melissa. We're speaking with the chairman of CVM Television, the executive chairman, Dr. Delroy Hole, and he's been telling us about some of the work that CVM has been doing. Over 2,000 care packages so far today. Chairman, what's next for the CVM team?
Well, not only we gave out care packages today. When I came, I saw that we were also trying to repair some roofs. There was a lot of cleaning up of the classrooms, cleaning up of the general area. So I would say overall it's just a complete team effort today, just trying to get the primary school back up and running.
Yeah. And in terms of visiting other parishes, so we've gone to St. Elizabeth already, Black River and St. Elizabeth, and you say you want to actually, the team is also going back to St. Elizabeth again?
No, the next stop is Falmouth. We had make a promise to go back to Black River, so that is on the cards, but the next stop will be Falmouth.
And we've also been to Westmoreland and parts of St. James. And before today, we were at the football viewing last Tuesday. That's the Reggae Boys game.
Correct. Again, the reason for the viewing of the football, we just want at least for a couple of hours just to have people have a sense of normalcy, take their mind off this devastation. So I think it did a wonderful job. The feedback from the community has been great in terms of us allowing them to watch the football game. And we want to say a big thank you to the JFF and to the content rights provider for allowing us to show the Reggae Boys play last week.
All right. Thank you so very much. That's the chairman of CVM TV, Dr. Delroy Hole, just giving us an update in terms of what the CVM team has been doing here in Cambridge, St. James so far today, and what we have been doing in other parishes since the passage of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. Of course, look out for us next Tuesday, same time, same place. Will be in Falmouth, Trelawney. Moving on now to the Member of Parliament for the Southern St. James, Nikisha Burchell, along with one of our councillors, Kenroy Dupa from the Catadupa, Kenroy Russell from the Catadupa division. Kenroy Gordon from the Catadupa division. Yes. I tried very hard, viewers, to remember his name. I came up a little bit short. You've been very vocal in terms of what has been happening in your constituency and advocating for the needs of your constituency. Just tell us to date, what are some of the issues that you're still having challenges with the MP?
Well, one of the biggest issues we have is homelessness. We calculate by just our eyesight, not official figures, that we've lost maybe about 70% of the housing stock in South St. James. Our schools are another big issue. The school you're at today still has not reopened because it's lost majority of its roof, and it's still serving as a shelter to about 8 or so persons. All of our schools, with the exception of Niagara Primary, currently are still housing people who've been displaced by Hurricane Melissa.
I want to say all of our schools, in terms of a number, how many schools are we talking about?
All of our high schools, 3 high schools, and majority of our primary schools, and we have close to 20 odd, 23 or so primary schools here still housing, in addition to churches that are still housing people. So when I say Hurricane Melissa has disrupted our life, our ecosystem, what we do, our culture, our way of living, it has totally displaced us, and we're still not closer to where we need to get.
In terms of the number of persons being housed in these shelters, do you have a head count in terms of how many persons are in these shelters?
Yes, we try to get it on a weekly basis because it changes as persons' circumstances improve. They may move out of the shelter, but this one, for example, we have about 8 people still living here at this primary school. At the Cambridge High School, which is just down the road, we have 30 odd people still living there, even while the upper school has returned to school. So they are living and sharing the space still. A lot of our primary schools are doing the same thing. At the Garlands Primary School, we still have 20 odd residents living in the shelter while the PEP students have been called back to school. So they have.
Sorry, so you've mentioned 3 locations: Cambridge Primary, Cambridge High School, and another school just now. And from my accounts, about 68 here, 20 odd at the high school, and 30 odd at the other location. That's close to 60. And you said there are 20. In terms of an overall count now, in terms of how many persons are in the shelters, what's the latest figure you have?
Well, I don't have an overall in my head. I was taking it on a school-by-school basis, but it ranged from 1 person, as is the case at Catadupa Primary, to as many as 33 at Cambridge High. Malden High School also has quite a high figure, and Anchovy High School had 1. Still has 1 rather. We're trying to work with the principal, Dr. Stewart, to see if we can get a tent for the gentleman who's still staying there, because her situation is a little unique. Anchovy has 2 campuses, and 1 campus has been rendered we can't use it at all. And so all of our students who were there will now have to go back to campus 1, so we can't afford to have residents staying there. So we're going to
go back to campus 1, perhaps a shift system at campus 1?
We're regressing. We're going back to a shift system. Anchovy once had a shift system, and we made quite a bit of gains to get them out of that situation, and now we have to return to that.
You mentioned Catadupa, and I just want to bring in Councillor Gordon here at this point. How are things in your division, Councillor, in terms of the number of persons affected and how they're doing now?
It is terrible. Most of the houses have been demolished. Everything that has zinc on top of it has been blown away, and everything that actually have a roof is actually functioning as a shelter. So it is not the easiest thing. I mean, having running water is also a major challenge that we've had here. NWC without power can't operate. I've been trying to see if we could get them to bring a standby plant so that the pump can function. Without success, so there's no running water right across the entire division. There's no electricity across the entire division. Communication is still almost, well, it is becoming a lot easier now, but it is still choppy in many areas. So it is bad in Catadupa. Not pretty.
In terms of actual injuries and dare I say regrettable fatalities, what's the situation in your constituency, MP Burchell?
Well, we haven't yet get the official figure, but at our last count we had lost 5 lives due to Hurricane Melissa. But we are getting, even today we lost someone else in Maroon Town. He was living alone, no one to care for him. His house had been demolished, he was exposed to the elements, and no food, no water, and we found him today, and the authorities had to go in to get him out of the space. So the damage after the 28th of October was 5 when we last counted, but we're losing people daily. And what is more heartbreaking is the mental space of our residents.
That's what I want to talk to you about. We've been hearing from persons on the ground, volunteers, medical doctors and others alike, telling us that they're seeing people wandering almost aimlessly, like people are quite literally losing their minds. And you just alluded to that in your area. What's that like for the people here?
it's a real thing, because the facade that we used as our defense mechanism, days after the storm, which was, once we have life, we have hope, it's slowly cracking and coming apart, because the hope is slipping away each day when you have to go back home, and dare I call it a home, to a tarpaulin, perhaps, if you were lucky, or to a neighbor's home. And after a while, a neighbor really doesn't want to have a whole family staying with them. So we are reaching a crisis right now in South St. James.
And speaking about crisis, and this, you've explained quite eloquently the situation here in terms of the damage. What, if anything, are you as a member of parliament doing to help mitigate some of the issues?
In terms of housing?
Yes, and providing care packages and food for them.
Well, when it comes to care package, Councillor Gordon and the other councillors and I were quite at a disadvantage. Personally, I've received 300 care packages from the government. Every other care package we've been able to collect and circulate in this constituency.
So when you say 300 care packages, I mean 300 per day?
No, 300 ever is what I personally received.
And how long will one of those care packages last?
I would estimate for an average family of 4, that was probably 2 nights.
2 nights. And in terms of the number of people affected in the constituency, in terms of a number, can you say how many?
I would say about 70% of the families. But the truth is,
in terms of a number, I'm saying 300 care packages for about how many families?
Over 70,000, close to 100,000 people would be needing food and shelter.
Is World Central Kitchen working in your constituency as well? What's that been like?
We have to thank them. They've been trying to go as far as they can. But South St. James is quite a large geographic space. It takes up more than half of the parish of St. James. And I was just told by residents outside that World Central Kitchen is moving out of Cambridge this weekend. I know.
What's next? Next step. So how do you continue then? Because those will be people who were depending on them. What will happen to fill the gap? What, if anything, will be doing?
Well, Giovanni, we really depended a lot on our agriculture, on our fields to feed us. So our yams, our plantains, our bananas, sorrel and gungo peas for Christmas, and we lost most of that to Hurricane Melissa. So no, I don't know what's next. I am depending on the benevolence of strangers from the private sector, from international people who've come in to help, but that won't last. We've spoken with the Minister of Agriculture. He's promised to give us some seeds, some fertilizer to help our farmers to get back into the farms, so we can at least look towards a good spring. But for Christmas, I'm hoping that the benevolence of our neighbors won't dry up, because so far we haven't been able to depend well on the government to help us.
Thankfully, CVM TV is here today to perhaps just a little drop in the bucket. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Member of Parliament for Southern St. James, Nakisha Burchell, and Councillor Kenroy Gordon from the Katadupa division. Got it right this time. Thank you both so much for sharing with us, and I smile not to trivialize the issue at all, but at least that we're happy to be here to at least speak to you, to hear some of what the issues are, and see how best we can hopefully get some attention. Thank you both so much for speaking with us here on CVM TV. We take our second break here on Lead Story. Stay with us when we come back. We hear how the business sector and tourism interests are faring following Hurricane Melissa. This is Lead Story on CVM TV.
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these 4 boys dream of playing in the ISA schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
ISA schoolboy football is back. The storm has passed, but the spirit remains. This time it's bigger than football. CVM TV brings you a doubleheader from Waterhouse Mini Stadium. This Friday, November 28, the round of 16 continues with match day 2. In the opening encounter, Woolmer's Boys and Tivoli Gardens face off in a must-win for both teams. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. and Stats and Excelsior clash for a spot at the top of the group in the feature match at 4:15 p.m. Coverage is live and exclusive on CVM TV, CVM Television Jamaica on YouTube, and CVMTV.com. That's the return of the Issa Manning Cup, Friday, November 28. A doubleheader at Waterhouse Mini Stadium. Tivoli Gardens versus Woolmer's Boys at 2 p.m. and Stats versus Excelsior at 4:15 p.m.
Jamaica, make we do the right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out, don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30.
Visit VC's Electrical Sales today at 21 Mannings Hill Road, Kingston 8. Come see why VC's Electrical Sales is your go-to for quality electrical supplies at great prices. Check our website to see a sample of our products or call us for the full inventory at 876-622-9800. VC's Electrical Sales, also known as VC's Electrical Depot.
Alright guys, can we get the lead story host on set, please?
Lead story here on Welcome back to Lead Story here on CVM TV. It's live television, folks, right here, down here. It's a lot of noise, so if you see me looking off at from time to time, it may happen with live television. Now, Amoy mentioned earlier an exclusive report we got from former employees of the Bahia Principal Hotel in Runaway Bay St. Anne. Let's go to a preview of that report that is coming up at 7 o'clock in News at 7 before we speak to our next two guests here on Lead Story.
The crowd that you're seeing gathered here are contract workers from the Bahia Principe Hotel and Resorts. Dozens of them are here today to collect what is now left of what for a lot of them were years of their livelihood. Now the money that they'll be signing up to collect today is payment from November 16 until the end date on each of their contracts. Now a lot of the persons I spoke to so far told me that they've been here since morning in the hot sun with little to no communication from the hotel management.
Lots of us, some people are dependent on it and this people work, but since what happened now, there's lots of people probably head are hurting them, thinking about lots of things, no other work, because me and my person, I try several other ways work. I don't get through that yet, so I have to, there's several things bugging in our head right now and so forth towards what take place and what's going on right now. Even during the storm, they make it work. We then give you for pay and nothing because we have to wake up out of our bed from 3 o'clock in the morning, stand up on our foot till much o'clock in the night, work, cook, because I'm a chef. And turn up for the whole time and so forth. So we don't get no benefit from it, no benefit from it. And no clear packet, nothing at all. Not even if it's all right, my staff, I appreciate for what we do for us. So here is something, nothing at all, and give it. They don't treat me like a puss and dog.
That's a preview of what's to come in Leeds, well, in CVM News at 7. We just want to invite now on set Jason Russell and Robin Russell. Jason Russell, of course, is the owner and operator of Pier 1 Montego Bay, and his brother, and is also the president of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce. Yes. And Jason Russell, Robin Russell, is the immediate past president of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association, and also the head of Deja Resort. First, you would have seen that preview of the workers out there in Runaway Bay St. Anne. Serious concerns about how hotel workers are treated. Mr. Russell, firstly, what if anything is being done to improve how locals are treated by hotels in these situations? People complain that they're being let go essentially without not much benefit at all from the hotel.
So I just saw the video, so I didn't even get a appreciation for what the video was or what's happening. But I know there's been a lot of communication happening. People think that there hasn't been, but there really hasn't been a lot of time to assess what's happening in Melissa. So you're dealing with assessing the damages, you're dealing with assessing how do you build back, and then you're dealing with how do you assess dealing with your staff. Now I know that, and I will speak to Bahia. Bahia had made plans for refurbishing and building 1,000 rooms, including houses, up to, I think March is when they announced the plans, and to close in December. So I know they've been doing a lot of planning and moving forward. I know that also there has been a major redundancy exercise that already was in place. Money was allocated and persons were to get their benefits. This has pushed everything forward, but I can't speak to it because I really didn't see the video or hear the comments that were made today.
But certainly in terms of the hundreds of workers now without a job, a lot of people saying they don't know where they'll go next in terms of the displacement that will be caused by, and certainly worsened by Hurricane Melissa. What, if anything, can tourism interests do to cushion some of the fallout?
So we have put a proposal together very similar to what happened in COVID, where there would be a stimulus package.
And who is we who?
The Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. There are groups that, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak on behalf of the president, but you know we've met and we've discussed different stimulus packages to help not only the businesses but especially the hotel workers who have been most displaced. I know that over $1 billion has already been allocated to hotel workers, both private and through government subsidies, and we're looking for more. You know, we're looking for some kind of subsidy to help offset what's happening. But we have to take into account that these businesses are closing.
Speaking about that fund, I remember the Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett spoke about it last week. I think the government will be putting up 600 million and 400 million will be coming from private interests, a facility to benefit tourism workers. How can they access that facility to get the help? Because a lot of people won't know how to access that right now.
So that is all worked out in what we're proposing, and I know it's going to Ministry of Finance either today or tomorrow for them to oversee how it will actually happen. But they did it the last time through the companies. So the companies actually got the money and then allocated it to the workers, because it's the easiest step to try and find all the workers. The government would never be able to do that. So the companies got the money and then they turned it over directly to the workers, and the workers were able to get paid for the 3 months that COVID, that specific period. We're proposing that same 3-month, 4-month period where workers will at least get an income. But the key to it is hotels have to open, businesses have to open. It's not about handouts or grants. It really is about how do we get the industry open, how do we get permits for the hotels, how do we get concessions that we can.
Come to that right now, because that's exactly where we're going. And I promise I'm not ignoring. I just want to get one final question before I come to you as well, because I know you're here just looking. But how soon will the workers be able to access that funding? Because as you said that it will be going to the Ministry of Finance. And I doubt it's today because the day is pretty much done. But how soon will people be able to access this assistance?
Again, we've gotten I want to say a firm commitment from the minister that he's endorsing it and he's pushing it forward. Again, it's at the Ministry of Finance, so they're going to have to find the money now and allocate the money and see how the moving parts are going to happen. But it has to happen now, and that's what we're saying. It's not 2 months on the road or a month on the road. People are suffering right now, and unlike COVID, this impact is a lot more. People are without houses, people are without water, people are without electricity, people are without food, clothing, and it has to happen now.
President of the Chamber of Commerce now. So your brother just quite literally said people are without houses, food, water, but in the same breath, businesses need to reopen. How do you strike that balance? Because the same workers you will need to work in some of these places don't even have anywhere to live.
The way I see it, it's a separate conversation. You have a person.
Very much intertwined.
It is, but your personal life is very important to you, but it has to be fueled. And while we're getting aid to the island, and even within the island, person to person, you're getting help, it's not sustainable. So you can't wait until everything is right in your personal life before you start to fuel the fire. And the only way to fuel that fire is to get back to work. Now, what does it mean for a business owner to get back to work without water, without power in some instances, without knowing what's going on with the staff? It's that first step. And just like climbing a ladder or climbing a big hill, don't think about the top. Don't think about the destination. Think about the first step. Going there, starting to clean, starting to call back your clients, start to get your staff back climatized to coming back to work. Just start the small steps and see where they lead. It's not going to be, there's no silver bullet. Nobody will come and rebuild your business. Nobody's going to come and make sure everything is okay. Nobody's going to come and build you a new home. Nobody's going to come and make sure you personally are right. There's a lot of personal effort that's going to have to come to get this done.
But certainly from a business perspective, the Chamber of Commerce, what if anything are you doing to help some of the persons in and around your areas get back on their feet?
So what we're doing now is a lot of information. You know, the channeling of information, the channeling of support. It's not necessarily going out. As a chamber, we're not going out and feeding people. But what we're doing, we're feeding information to people who can help. The banks, we met with the UN this morning, who plan to they plan to come and support. We've been working with.
And by say UN, it is the United Nations.
United Nations, yes. And there are a number, and it's a testimony to Jamaica and how looked upon we are in the world, that these organizations, many layers of them are coming down.
Just a second here, so some of our viewers may notice a little bit that the light went. Again, this is live TV. We're still here, it's fine, it's been worked on, and it's after Melissa as well.
So there are many organizations on the island now that are coming here to support, but they don't know how, they don't know where, they don't know who. It's organizations like the Chamber that will sit them down and say, okay, this is heavily affected. These persons need that. Join partners with this. So putting people in the room is where we really find our mantra, where we really get, you know, our importance. Putting the UN with the GHTA, that was a part of the meeting today, to get them to sit and talk to the GHTA, talk to the Chamber of Commerce and figure out what their next step is. They're right now on a fact-finding mission, and we are giving them the facts this morning.
Okay. Well, we're happy to hear that you're doing that advocacy, and hopefully it reaches some of the people who most need. We're just upon the break right now, but in terms of the businesses in your membership, how are they doing on their road to recovery?
Of course, it's not perfect. We still have some people that are heavily affected, and maybe not up till next year, especially the hotels, of course. But we have to give thanks to the JCF, the JPS, National Water Commission. They've been working assiduously night and day. The municipality, the mayor and his team, he started an EOC, an emergency council to react after the crisis. And they brought downtown Montego Bay back up on stream. Howard Cook is back up on stream. The hip strip is back. The airport is back. The port is back. We had a cruise ship here. Flights have been
on the road to recovery, essentially.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I want to thank you both so much for speaking to me. So many more issues to speak about, but we are upon our final break here on Lead Story. Just before we let you go, I just want to ask each of you one more question. So we'll take our final break here on Lead Story, this special edition tracking Melissa, the aftermath. We're coming to you from the Cambridge Primary School here in St. James. A little bit earlier on, I was seeing a little boy who is one of the persons here, I gather, who is staying at this location as a shelter, still, playing around in the net, because what else is there to do? We take our final break here on Lead Story. We'll be right back.
Alright guys, can we get the Lead Story host on set, please?
Issa Schoolboy Football is back! The storm has passed, but the spirit remains. This time it's bigger than football. CVM TV brings you a doubleheader from Waterhouse Mini Stadium. This Friday, November 28, the round of 16 continues with match day 2. In the opening encounter, Woolmer's Boys and Tivoli Gardens face off in a must-win for both teams. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. and Stats and Excelsior clash for a spot at the top of the group in the feature match at 4:15 p.m. Coverage is live and exclusive on CVM TV, CVM Television Jamaica on YouTube, and CVMTV.com. That's the return of the Issa Manning Cup, Friday, November 28. A doubleheader at Waterhouse Mini Stadium. Tivoli Gardens versus Woolmer's Boys at 2 p.m. and Stats versus Excelsior at 4:15 p.m. Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these 4 boys dream of playing in the Issa schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivier Shield.
So welcome back to Lead Story here on CVM TV. It's our special Tracking Militia edition. Just wanted to ask our final question of the Russell brothers. Firstly, from the Chamber of Commerce's perspective, immediate next steps right now.
Support and share. Support local business, share what you have. If we, instead of bringing down goods that might offset our economy, collect the cash from the states, buy stuff locally. We're not short of goods here, support local business. That's the push that we're doing now.
And immediate Parish President of the JTA, immediate next steps right now, Mr. Russell.
So the next steps is really assessing where the hotels are going to be and making the plans for them to open. And then after that, assessing what is already open and spreading to the world that we are open. There are quite a bit of properties in Jamaica that are open. We're ready for business, we're clean, we're ready, beaches are open, and we just want people to come and enjoy what Jamaica
Certainly a plug there for Jamaica, but I'll accept it in a time like this. I'd usually call out whoever does that. Robin and Jason, so I want to thank you both so much. I don't even know which one is which one right now, so I won't even pretend, because it's hard to tell. You all look like twins as well. I won't comment on that at all. Well, thank you both so much for speaking to me. Jason and Robin Russell there, the former president of the JHTA and also the current president of the Chamber of Commerce, the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce, that is. We want to speak with some people on the ground. As you're looking on your screen right now, you'd have heard Jason Russell mention how hard the JPS workers are working. We did see some of them today in every single part. We saw them in St. Anne, we saw them in Trelawny, we also saw them here in Montego Bay, almost at every single corner inside some of the communities as well. We saw them working very hard to kind of restore electricity to those who are affected. We want to invite now 2 of the people from Cambridge who are here, who have been impacted by Hurricane Melissa. Let me start with you. Firstly, what's your name?
My name is Venice Wallace.
Ms. Wallace, you work at the high school or you work here at the primary school?
I work here at the primary school at the village.
Okay. Describe for me what it was like in the immediate aftermath when you came here and, to essentially look at your workplace.
Oh, it was so devastating. When I look at it, it was so hard to look at the first, because when I came here, I saw the building, and trust me, it is not pretty. And then during the hurricane, Lord of mercy, there's a lot of people get hurt during the hurricane. So many people get hurt in the hurricane. I'm not too bad.
What happened when you say a lot of people got hurt? What do you mean exactly?
Get hurt, lose their items, they lose their houses, they lose a lot of things during the hurricane.
And some of our viewers will be seeing on your screens right now shots of some of the devastation in this part of St. Elizabeth. How were you?
Well, I was not affected that bad because I'm not living in the board house. So persons who live in the board house get so much affected than me, because only thing happened to me, I had a window burst. And then where I was living, I was flooded downstairs, and I eventually have to went down there to save an elderly lady.
And for you, ma'am, just tell me what's your name, and you work at the high school,
Yes.
Cambridge High School.
Yes, sir. I'm Kesha Lewis.
What was the situation like at the high school in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Melissa?
Well, after it was really flood down there, the road was flooded. You couldn't cross if you cannot swim. And the roof also there's a lot of, the roof was off. And at my home now, when I was like next door to my cousin, and I was like looking, and I hear a lot of screaming, a lot of noise. And when I peep over, I see the breeze just lift my roof, gone with it. And then I just rush inside, started to cry, come back outside, continue looking. And then now it was so devastated for me. I just couldn't manage what I see.
And when the roof went, what was that like?
Pardon me?
After the roof went, you say your roof went, and you were there looking. What was that like during that period for you?
Oh my God, I can't even explain. To be honest, when I see it, everything was inside of me was like torn apart when I see it. So I just like started to crying, want to come outside. My cousin hold me, tell me, no, you cannot go outside, you cannot go, you have to stay inside. And I just break down.
And how have you been doing since Hurricane Melissa? Because I mean, you're here, both of you, thankfully. Lovely Jamaican women, lovely to have you here still, despite what happened during Hurricane Melissa. But especially for you, what has it been like since then? What exactly do you need right now in terms of support?
To be honest, I have a 10-year-old son, and he's sad every day and he cries every day just like I do. And for me, if I could get assistance for help to just get back a home for me and my child, it would be a great for me.
So you mentioned that the roof went. Is your home is it being worked on right now, or is it what's the scale of the damage to your home?
From the top straight to the bottom, everything is flat. Everything went flat. Everything inside, like my furniture, everything went damaged.
And just again, what's the name and how can people get in touch with you if they'd like to help you?
My name is Kesha Lewis, and my telephone number is 812-0008.
812-0008 to assist Kesha Lewis if you want. I'm so very sorry for what you're going through, Miss Lewis, and your son. How is he coping, your 10-year-old son?
He cry, Mommy, when we are going to go back to live somewhere, I want to get big, to work and buy a house and we can live together. And when I heard he say that, it just breaks my heart at all the time.
So where do you stay at the moment?
Right now I'm at my cousin.
All right, Miss Lewis, certainly I commiserate with what you're going through, and hopefully we can get some assistance to you at the end of the program. Let's speak a little bit more off air. Thank you so much, Miss Lewis, and just remind me your name again, please.
Veris Wallace.
And Miss Wallace, thank you both so much for speaking to us here on Lead Story. Again, we're on the ground hearing from people. It's always interesting to hear from. It makes it that much more real, you know. If you're not here, it's very difficult for you to see. But I could see under her eyes, they're swollen, literally, and yeah, that's a little bit hard to digest, quite frankly, because the stories are very similar. Where you go, is that someone has been a little bit affected or significantly affected, and we saw that contrast there. And some of the contrast that we saw today as well, we still were seeing the beautiful beaches, the beautiful Caribbean Sea coming into St. James, but contrast that with the garbage all around that you will hear from us in News at 7. And the same thing as well, we saw the beautiful sunsets, but we're seeing the destruction, to the devastation coming up here in Cambridge as well on the road. We have a final guest as well, the principal of the Cambridge Primary School. Good evening. Forgive me, I'm a little bit out of, because I was speaking to some of your workers in terms of how they have been affected by this whole thing. How has your staff overall been affected? And I'm so sorry, could you just tell me your name firstly?
My name is Audriana Reed Gonga Singh.
Adriana Reid Gonga-Singer, the principal of Cambridge Primary School, acting principal of Cambridge Primary School. How are your staff doing?
My staff, overall, they're doing well. They have suffered some damage, but overall, they are doing well. Yes.
In terms of the students and their families, what are the stories you've been hearing?
The students, well, a lot of them, their parents, their houses have been damaged. They are living with other people, some of them. But overall, they are eager to come back to school. The students are eager to come back to school. And the parents are forging ahead as best as they can.
You mentioned the coming back to school. When are you looking to reopen?
So we, with the help of your team today, which I must say, thanks so much, we will be reopening on Monday. So that would be the 1st of December. So we will be reopening on Monday for grades 4 to 6 students.
And in terms of communicating with the students or parents of the students to kind of get them back to school, has the school been doing that? How are you communicating with them?
Because what I did, I had sent the parents in the WhatsApp groups at school, that we have at school, and a message to say that we hope to reopen in December. So I am very happy that you guys came here today and did some major cleaning up. I must say, major cleaning up. So we are reopening on Monday, grades 4 to 6.
Adriana Gonga-Singer, thank you so much for speaking to us here on CVM TV, and we do wish you all the best with the reopening of school. And thank you also for accommodating us here at Cambridge Primary.
You're most welcome. Thank you. And I must say thanks to the World Central Kitchens, and I must say thanks to the Max Security team. And again to you guys, CVM. You do not know how appreciative we are of the help that you gave here today. We really thank you.
At least it's a lighter note.